in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come on Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our.
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
When the airwaves in your market become more and more crowded, it's time to break it open and really stand out. Broken Air is here.
On mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come on Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our.
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Yes, good afternoon. It's another beautiful day to discuss all of the happenings around the world. Well, most importantly, or more specifically around Nigeria. It's time for Open Forum, specifically designed for you, our dear listener, to share your own analysis of all of the top stories in the past 1 week. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. The show will run from now. Time check at now is 3 minutes past 1. And we'll be running the show up until 3 p.m. So that's just 2 hours of you, joining us as we, Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra, and I will not be doing this alone, as the name implies. Open Forum. We have analysts who will be joining us, having this conversation. We have guests who will join in the conversation as we push some certain focal points forward this afternoon. We have a plethora of stories that we're going to be looking through this afternoon. So you're welcome to join the conversation as the show progresses, all right? And the number to call is 0913 6000 410. 0913 6000 410. That's the number to call. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can join the conversation via our social handles on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. You can drop your contributions in the live chat section. I will take them as the show progresses. Please ensure to indicate your name and where you're texting from, where you're sending your message from, your location. Yes, very important for us. All right, as you send your messages to those platforms. If you'd like to send WhatsApp messages or text messages as well, we have a phone line for that, and that's 0913 6000 430. 0913 6000 430. That's for text messages, WhatsApp messages. All right. So as I mentioned, we'll be having analysts joining in. We also have a guest joining in. We're all here to have a conversation. You'd also be joining in as the show progresses, whichever platform is most convenient for you to join. All right. So we have this afternoon Barrister Adam Atta will be joining us this afternoon as we have our conversations. Good afternoon, Barrister Atta. It's a pleasure to have you again today.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. Thank you.
All right. I also have with me in the studio Kevin Wafili. Also will be joining in the conversation. Kevin Wafili will also be giving his own thoughts as a concerned Nigerian citizen that he is, as regards all of the stories that we're going to be looking through this afternoon. Good afternoon, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Sandra. Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, there you have it. The energy is up. We're ready to have the conversation. You are welcome to Open Forum.
Stop paying attention to the hustle and bustle of Lagos. Take a chill pill.
Problem in the feeling. Calm down. Holiday to Mozambique. Follow me go to Mozambique.
On the beach, we are the perfect guide to your destination. Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come and Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our.
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Thank you for staying with us. It is still Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It's Open Forum on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, where you, our dear listener, you get the chance to share all your thoughts or bear your mind as regards all of the all of the topics that we're going to be discussing this afternoon. So thank you very much once again to Barrister Atta for making out time to be here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me today.
All right. Thank you as well, Kelvin. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So, the hottest topic now, of course, is electricity tariff hike. We started the conversation the day before, yesterday, with Barrister Atta, but the focus of that one was, looking at the rights of electricity consumers. But I think we've moved past that now. There's outreach on the streets as regards this tariff hike, and stakeholders have reacted. Different people have reacted. What we have is just a quick background for those of us who probably need by band A customers. So band A customers are those who enjoy light for about 20 hours or so. That's band A, and they constitute about 15% of all electricity users nationwide. Have been completely removed from their tariff. So no cent have been furnishing 65% subsidy on electricity. So now with this increase, we naira per kilowatts, that's what we're working with now, and some power experts have expressed dissatisfaction with that, and this, which was approved by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. And reacting to the development, we have here Adiola Ilori, the National Coordinator of All Electricity Consumers Protection Forum, condemned the sudden tariff hike, asserting that it was implemented without due process, and he emphasized that the increase should have followed prescribed procedures outlined in the NERC's regulatory directives, which is as mandated, of course, by the law. Meanwhile, we also have an electricity market analyst who acknowledged the inevitability. It was going to happen, whether we like it or not, of the tariff increase, attributing it to the fluctuations in the gas and dollar prices. As we know, natural gas, contributes 80% to our electricity sourcing in Nigeria. I think the Gencos have been, putting out word as regards that one. Although, also in recent times, the NMDPRA also increased, the price of natural gas. So that's also another factor that we need to consider. So aside from that, there's also the fact that it's limited. The supply of gas is limited, and as we all know, or whether we don't know, the information or the report is that natural gas, it contributes 80% to electricity generation in Nigeria. So with this now, with this coming up with this tariff hike, a lot of people, especially business owners, have something to say as regards this. Business owners are already struggling with the petrol subsidy removal. Now they have to also work with electricity subsidy removal, and there's the importance for all. It's very important for us to actually look at this. Let's also look at it from the angle of the fact that subsidy is expensive, and it is something that we have always talked about, either for fuel or for electricity. Subsidy is expensive, and it's may or may not be too expensive for the government to continue to run. We are talking about electricity subsidy is running into trillions of naira every year for the government. So whether or not they can afford to actually carry on with this is another angle to also look at. So manufacturers and labor unions have vehemently opposed the government's approval to hike tariffs by 240% for electricity users receiving 20 hours of power. That's the band A. And what we have, customers will now have to pay 225 naira per kilowatt an hour, which is coming from 68 naira per kilowatt an hour. Now, very, very simple. Do you think the government is justified, or do you think it is right policy, wrong timing, or do you think, whether we like it or not, it is just wrong? There's no other name to call it, or there's no other conversation around it. Wrong time, wrong policy, wrong sector at this time now, especially. All right, or do you think it is right policy but wrong timing? They should have at least halted or waited. Let people are still struggling. There's a lot of economic hardship outside there. People are challenged at this time, economic wise. All right, and this, when you're talking about band A, there's a lot of people within that band who fall into the manufacturing sector, the business owners, because they're the ones who need, who use this power on like the residentials. Okay, so I'll start with Barrister.
Yes, we agree with your statement wherein you say that it is a good policy, but the timing is wrong, because we are just recovering from the removal of the fuel subsidy saga, and now the economic is beginning to bounce back gradually, and then you come and inflict this further hardship on Nigerians, because for production, for people in the manufacturing industry, for private individuals, for companies, and for everybody, power supply is very key to the growth of every nation. So for me, the timing is very wrong. The procedure to which the government have spark up these announcements is wrong, because there are procedure that the law put in place. At least you need to notify, you need to put it for people to debate on it, not to come on air and then you announce. And then even the increment is so arbitrary. From 100%, what happens to 70, 80%? You are going to about 200% and
300 actually.
The 300 apparently. Why is it that if you look at in the mathematics setup, you see equation is being rated over 10 or over 100? What happens to we seeing that is over 100 as against going to about 300? Is wrong. The timing is wrong. The procedure to which the government came about that figure is wrong also, and even the proper procedure is not being followed. No consultation, people are not involved in the procedure. So you cannot, any government that is bent on inflicting further hardship on its citizen is not, I cannot describe that as a government per se. So for me, I do not agree with the increment is wrong. The timing is wrong. I say it again, is wrong. People are not consulted. This is customer relationship, and these people don't have it. You need to interface, create awareness as part, because it's part and parcel of their right. Before you can increase tariff, you must notify the consumers. You must create awareness, let them be aware of their rights. These are what the law has put on board, and then you ensure that you follow proper procedure to ensure that the proper and adequate assessment is being taken before you now announce a particular figure, assuming you must make an increment. It must not be arbitrary increment like what we're experiencing right now. So I agree with the people that say no. We are saying no to this.
All right, Kevin. The government is saying, that continuing or maintaining the subsidy on electricity is expensive for them to carry on, and with this now the government will be saving about 4 trillion naira or so thereabout. And I agree with Pastor Atta. How they come up with these figures, I don't know. But then looking at what is obtainable out there on the streets or in the streets, and now with this new policy, should we say, let's be fair to the government, even if they want to increase, or what's your own analysis of this?
Okay, thank you for that question. I'd like to start with the fact that the economy hasn't balanced yet. We are obviously still struggling with the removal of fuel subsidy, and before a policy is initiated, it is important that it has to be test-run, debated, weighed. At the timing when this was introduced, I want to say it's wrong, owing to the fact that I understand that the government are suffering from, should I say, insufficient fund, and they are looking for ways to improve their revenue to run government. But the people as well, they are also been struggling from the removal of fuel subsidy, and there hasn't been any stability yet. There hasn't been any progress yet, and the fact that this was introduced as at this time, it's obvious that it's a double challenge for the masses. It's a double problem for the masses, owing to the fact that they are still struggling to be able to get used to meeting up with transportation fare, struggling with school fees, other job unemployment problems as well. So policies that should be introduced should be debated, weighed, analyzed, and of course that would help to bring insight on the fact that if this is introduced by this time, what would be the consequences, and these consequences would determine whether such policy should be introduced. So I think I stand on the point that of course this policy is wrong, and the fact that the increment came to almost 300 is something to bother about. Like I said, we are still struggling, and you're coming in with another policy, and the increment is about 300. How do you explain, how do you want the people to be able to hear this? If democracy is for the people and by the people, there's supposed to be consideration on humans, Nigerians, living in Nigerians, and of course making sure that policies that are introduced are something flexible, what we can manage, and of course move on with.
All right. NLC has also come in with their own reaction to this. We have Benson Upah, the head of information at the NLC, stating that the labor union would formulate a response to this particular policy. But he said, and I quote, "The government's decision is not only insensitive, it is callous. It further pauperizes consumers, especially workers whose wages are fixed and insufficient. It similarly makes the operating environment more hostile for manufacturers, with the potential for an astronomical rise in the cost of goods and services, or worst case scenario, more closures and more job losses."
Yes.
The only people who stand to gain from this mindless social violence against the people are the World Bank and IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund. And that quote is from Benson Upah, the head of information at the NLC. So to you, our dear listener, let's have a conversation. 0913 6000 410 0913 6000 410. That is the number to call. Join the conversation. We're having this afternoon. The first we're looking at is the electricity hike tariff by 240% for electricity users. Are we paying? Why do we have to pay so much for darkness? Because there are some people who would also complain that, oh, look at that, we don't even have light up until this particular one. But then this increase is actually for band A. I really don't know. So if there are business owners who are also listening who would like to join the conversation, let's have a conversation about that. Band A, that's those that receive 20 hours of power in a day. We have 24 hours in a day. So if you are listening and you are one of the end users or the consumers who falls under band A, receiving 20 hours of electricity, please call in. I don't know who you are, I don't know where they are, but apparently they exist.
Can I put this?
Yes,
it's important that the power holding companies should come out and publish the name of the areas.
Do we still have power holding companies? We have distribution companies.
No, those discos, they are just they can be best.
Discos.
Yes, they are the
distribution company.
Yes, they are the power holding company per se. Do you see? They are still branded in that distinct. Right. So my point is that it's important for them to come out and tell us which area is experiencing is currently experiencing power supply for 20 hours daily. Let me give you an example. On my left hand side, I know of people who consume light for about 21 hours daily. Are you getting my point? And then the other side of it, in the same transformer, they don't consume up to 10 hours daily. The same transformer.
Sorry.
Are you getting this thing?
Is that possible?
Yes, it's very possible.
On the same transformer.
Yes, it's not by the fact that power entered that transformer. It's not that everybody is going to get it for 24 hours. Some places are special, and then some other people on that same transformer will not have power up to 10 hours daily. So that is why we need to know ourselves. Maybe apparently somebody who is somewhere in the remote area of Lagos is experiencing light, because I know of some office in Victoria Island and the heart of Ikeja, they don't experience lights up to like 10 to 15 hours daily. So how will you describe those people? Whereas they're in the heart of Lagos, but they will not experience power supply up to 15 hours daily. So it's important for them to come and tell us, those in the band A, so we know ourselves.
All right, 0913 600410, 0913 600410. That's the number to call. Just as I mentioned earlier, the business owners, especially the business operators, are already complaining as regards, the fact that this would cause a rise in cost of goods and services. People have already lost purchasing power at this time now. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Fred. I'm calling from Lekki.
Fred.
Yes.
All right, Fred, please go ahead.
I live in Lekki phase 1. All
right.
And for the last 2 years, we've had prepaid. We've had estimated billing.
Oh, okay.
We are a flat of 8 in the compound. It's a mini estate, and we had a bill of about ₦1 million every month, and we're getting about 18 to 20 hours light constantly. In fact, sometimes that's one of our phrases that was getting too cold. But as at December last year, we decided to go over to prepaid meter. So each unit will have their own prepaid meter, right?
Okay.
And I tell you that since then till now, we maybe have an hour light a day, an hour and a half max. So I think it's a thing of they're not happy with the fact that we've gone over to a prepaid meter where we are monitoring our consumption and have now prioritized other people who are still on the estimated rebilling, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. But I just want to ask one question. So last year, you all applied for prepaid meter. Did you pay? Did you pay for the prepaid meter?
Yeah, we paid. We all paid each. We all paid about 175,000 thereabouts
each.
For everyone. Each, yeah, for a single phase.
175,000.
Yes, I know it's not the official rate, but we had to go to the back door because we thought that the bills were a bit exorbitant, so we had to do whatever we had to do.
Okay, so that's one red flag that I'm going to put out. Now, the second one is, so immediately you applied, you got it within how many weeks?
We got it within maybe 3 weeks.
Did you pay for connection?
We paid everything. We had to even go to the facility management company.
Okay.
It's beyond the individual basis. We had to pay connection. We had to pay some charges and everything. We just got tired. We just said, whatever has to happen, let it happen.
And unfortunately, ever since you moved to prepaid now, you've rarely had lights.
As I speak to you, my dear, we've not had light in our estate since for about 4 or 8 days. I'm not going to flash. And when it comes, maybe an hour.
Wow. So basically, now this doesn't pay you. So what are you guys going to do about this now?
We might now have to go back to the estimated billing, cut off the meters, cut our losses on the estimated billing, and what is the billing, because in the process we're paying $1 million plus a month shared across all of us. Now we have no light and we're still back to square one. So we might as well go back to the estimated billing. So I think it's a way to frustrate you so that you come back to the estimated billing. I don't know what it is. But it was literally within a week from getting those meters commissioned that we stopped having light. We first thought it was the transformer or something. They said no issue with that. They were reluctant to come to the and look at it. When they come eventually, they say, welcome to the head office, the marina. It was just a mess.
What disco is that? Is that EKDC?
It's EKDC, yes. EKDC.
That's
correct.
Eco? Yes.
Okay. Eco disco. They have one in the carton here which we use.
Oh wow!
The original, yeah.
That's a very.
I'm telling you from the horse's mouth. This is live.
Yes, and I'm totally blown away with that one. But thank you very much, Fred. But stay tuned. There's some things that Barrister is going to highlight as regards all of the information that you dropped just this afternoon. Barrister, first before we go into why. That there was that change as regards the power supply to the consumer, which is supposed to even be easier. It's supposed to be easier for these discos when you have prepaid. So if you don't use, no light for you. But if you use, you pay. So if you use for the whole day, more money for us. All right. Unlike estimated billing, people are scared. So every small hour, people are offing light, people are offing AC, people are off the fridge. They'll soon bill us off people are scared of using some appliances. Before we go into that, let's start with: are we supposed to pay for our prepaid meters?
No, we are not supposed to pay. That is how it is, but the reverse is the case in this part of the world. People are not supposed to pay, and assuming you pay for it, they are supposed to convert that money to a token for you after some time. And that is why when you get your prepaid meter for some time, you will enjoy free power supply for some time, maybe apparently for 1 month or 2 months. But you see, because it's not your property, it's just like all these POS machine. They are not your property.
The prepaid meter doesn't belong to me.
Yes, it does.
So why am I paying? Why are they paying? And why?
Because it is
175,000 now.
We need to get it right. Just like how we talk about government trying to subsidize the whole exercise. Government needs to put in part and parcel of their investment as part of the subsidy. But you see that up till date, government is still owing about 3 point something trillion thereabout. I don't know. I can't recall the figure as part of the subsidies. Government is still owing those companies, and that is part and parcel of why they want to go solo now, and that is why everything is now is bouncing back on the consumers. So the government is not doing their part, and that is why some of these companies are saying no, we cannot continue like this. Government, you say you will do this as part and parcel of your obligation, but you are still owing us money running to trillion, so particular amounts. So the government is not doing it, so these people are forced to bounce back on the consumers, and that is why you and I were paying for that prepaid meter. So let's get it right. Ordinarily it should be free. The system is bad. It's just like all this POS machine. You pay for it, but it's not your property. At the end of the day, if you don't want to do the business again, you return it to them, and then they refund back your money to you, all this POS machine and all those things.
So there's a possibility that if they return these prepaid meters, they will give them back their money.
That's how it is, because it's not your property. So what
I use please, Barrister.
Yes.
If these people now, what if they want to convert back to estimated billing? I don't know if that's even possible, or if it will work out for them.
I don't think it's going to work for them, because the truth is that now that they are now operating prepaid, these people are not happy again. That is how it is. Very simple.
So they have cut their supply
because of the fact that if you are using prepaid, the money is going directly to the company. But once you are on meter, you don't have prepaid meter. They come and give you estimated bill. They'll come and look at your AC, 5 AC, 3-bedroom apartment, duplex or 5-bedroom, this and that and everything. Victoria Island, Lagos, they come and slam you 2.5 million thereabouts, and then at the end of the day, you will negotiate with them, and then you'll be paying maybe out of 2-point-something million, you pay 1.5, and then the rest will not go. The part of the money will not go to the office. They are consuming the staff, the employees of these companies are taking. Because I know I'm speaking authoritatively, I'm speaking confidently of some clients, we handle some of their brief. You see, at a point, I even met a client, a consumer was telling me that, oh, I paid into a personal account. Why should you pay money that belongs to a company to a personal account? Where is the receipt? No receipt.
All right, 0913 6000 410. 0913 6000 410. That's the number to call to join the conversation. We're still on electricity tariff hike. This is quite a revelation here that Fred has put forward. The fact that they used to enjoy about 20 hours of electricity supply, and now I don't know if it's to say unfortunately or fortunately now, because they decided to move to prepaid meter, now they enjoy even way less than an hour in a day. And I really don't know what to make of that, whether it's an intentional exercise or from the discos trying to frustrate the consumer or customer. I really don't know. I thought, or I was of the impression, of the opinion rather, that people, you earn more from prepaid. It's just like the telcos, the telecommunication companies. If I don't have credit on my phone, I will not call. But if I have airtime, I can make calls. If I need to make calls, I purchase airtime. Okay? So isn't that supposed to be the same modus operandi for electricity?
No, because they are different industry. The reverse is the case for the telecom, the telecommunication industry.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, I don't know. My submission may not be part of your program, but I just want to share my experience with you.
Your name, sir?
With Tğğᴇ Electric. Okay, I'm Mr. Oᴘᴇᴜ calling from Bariga.
All right, Mr. Oᴘᴇᴜ, please go ahead.
Yeah, I live in a one-story building house where we have 2 active accounts being operated by Tğğᴇ Electric. But as I'm telling you, last week they just came up with a position that we have to create additional accounts, and we are on estimated billings. So each account receives between 95 and 117,000 at the end of every month. And now that we requested for prepaid, you said there's no prepaid. You are now asking us to create additional accounts. The worst of all, the business undertaking manager at Tağᴇ is now making it mandatory that we have to open 8 additional accounts, which will now be on estimated billings. So I really don't know if this is the directive from Tğğᴇ Electric itself, or is just their own thing.
Let me see if I got that correctly. What you are saying is that the disco is telling you to open 8 extra accounts.
6 extra accounts, which will now make it 8 accounts.
6 extra accounts.
And we are not metered.
Why? What's the reason they gave?
They say that is the directive, that since we are 16 occupants, that it is two occupants to 1 account. Right. But I believe even if that will have to happen, we have to meter us.
Did they give you any document to that effect? Is there any paper that was given to you, or is there any bill?
We have no document to that effect. But they said they've made the announcement. Yes, as I'm talking to you now, we've been disconnected since last Thursday. Let's start paying our current bill.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Oᴘᴇᴜ. I think I'm going to dig deeper into that particular one. I appreciate you, bringing that report on air. But I don't know, 6 accounts extra.
Well, yeah, you see that there are situations where you have more people or tenants or occupants in a particular building. You see that there may be up to 6 or 7 tenants in that building from what he said from his statement. And you see that there are situations where if you assign 1 meter to a particular to about 7 or 8 tenants or occupants, the workload, and you see that. Let me give you a very vivid illustration where you see that in some areas where you have prepaid, some people have prepaid meter, some people don't have prepaid meter. At the end of the month, the company will go and read the transformer and see and share the money, the outstanding money. The power consumed by those people using prepaid meter will be assessed. Let's say 3 million, and then apparently about 4 to 7 million is hanging. The transformer is reading about 8 million, the power supply to that particular transformer for that month. And then 3 million assigned to prepaid meter, those that are using prepaid meter. And then about 8 million is hanging. That 8 million will bounce back on the people that are not using prepaid meter. That is how they will start sharing it to people recklessly. Lagbaja, 150,000, Victor 200,000. So my point is that it may be that there are more occupants in that particular building. So the company is now saying, no, we want to start with this and that. But my advice for that person is that you have to engage your lawyer, or you team up yourself, or you put a letter and go to their head office, or write a letter to them, take them formally so that they can explain all these things to you. You have proper record. So they will not continue to spring surprises on you subsequently, because these people are very terrible, because a lot of people don't know their rights. So they take people for granted. Even they themselves, they don't even know some of the rights of the consumers.
Well, at this point now, we'll take a very short break and we'll be right back. It is still Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. We have a message here on Facebook. When we come back, we'll take it. And don't forget that as the show progresses, we still have a lot of other stories that we'll be looking through. So even if you want to take us back to the electricity conversation, you can always do that. All right. But we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll move on to other stories that we have on the table this afternoon. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. You're listening to Open Forum.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come on Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
When your whole world comes crashing down, please look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains. Waking up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Dear Nigerians, I am determined, I repeat, to give you the affordable and reliable power.
The stakes are higher than ever.
Government policy does not support youth in this country. So if you say you have any idea, one day, one way or the other.
The conversations are louder than imagined. The expectations are greater. The demand for quality blueprints needed to make informed decisions is constantly being reviewed.
You can start hiding
under party or anything. We are leaders that are entrusted by our people. Come and speak on their behalf.
The Situation Room on 98.3 Mainland FM provides the platform where all of your demands are met. Issue-based conversations about politics, policies, leadership and governance in Nigeria and around the world. Join us every Mondays through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we engage and interact towards setting the agenda for proper accountability and public engagements. The Situation Room is here. We welcome the roommates.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
Thank you for staying with us. It is still open forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. We had quite an interesting first round of the session where we discussed the electricity tariff hike. 244%. That's what we have now, about 260 something, almost 300% basically. So from 66 naira per kilowatt to over 200 naira per kilowatt. That is what band A consumers would now be paying for electricity. And band A consumers are those who enjoy or consume electricity for at least 20 hours in a day. That's what we had a conversation. But in the course of the conversation, Fred from Lekki called in and shared some information with us as regards, what they had to go through. We also had Mr. Oᴘᴇᴜ from Bariga also called in and shared his own experience also as regards electricity. But of course, it is open forum, so there's a lot of other stories that we need to look through, not just electricity. Okay, so we'll look at other stories, but don't forget that as in the course of the conversation, if you have your own stories that you'd like to bring to the table, you're welcome to do that. All you have to do is call in, share your thoughts. It's open forum, it's open mic. We share all of the stories, we discuss and analyze all of the stories, all of the hot topics in the past 1 week. So the number to call is 0913 6000 410. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can drop your comments in the live chat section as well as the show progresses. I have here on Facebook Sal Smith Sally saying, "Good afternoon, Sandra and the guest in the studio. I'm tired of this country. Why can't the government let us live our lives in peace? Why do they always bring policies that chokes the masses? They should leave us alone, I beg. A very wrong policy at these tough times we are facing. May government no vex me." Well, I don't know about that though, but let's take chill pills. Ebilade Ambo is saying, "In any endeavor, a government that consistently prioritizes actions without proper preparation deserves no commendation. Despite lacking a functional refinery, they chose to remove subsidies on petrol. Sandra, I wonder why a nation plagued by frequent collapse of the national grid, citizens are now expected to pay higher electricity bills, even with the challenge of unstable electricity supply." Ebilade Ambo sharing his own thought there. Speaking of collapse of national grid, the national grid has collapsed twice this year alone already, and in 2023 collapsed about 100 and no between 2021 and 2023 collapsed about 143 times. So even with the blackout, even with the government consistently threatening to revoke the licenses of discos, even with no power supply, even with manufacturers complaining of energy costs and all of that, here we are, the discos are still smiling home to the bank. We have now a hike in electricity. But then let's move on to the second story, for the second report rather, for the day. Time check right now is 1:44 p.m. The Lagos State Judiciary recent virtual hearing, 30,000 per session fees. Right, so let's just quickly have a background to that. So the Lagos State Judiciary has announced the payment of a 30,000 naira fee per session for all remote or virtual court proceedings across Lagos State from April 1st. And this is contained in a circular by the acting chief registrar of the state, Tajuddin Elias, dated March 28th. So the circular said all applications for virtual hearings must be made to the court hearing the matter. And he added that the payment shall be made upon approval to the court. And the circular said that the assistant chief registrar litigation in Ikeja or Lagos would schedule the case for hearing upon receipt of the payment. There's a lot we can actually, take away. There's some highlights that we have from there. But by starter, just very quickly, let's have, the legal background to these virtual cases or virtual court hearings. Some people are not even aware that you can actually have court hearings virtually or remotely.
Yes, the procedure started sometime in 2020 thereabouts after the COVID, and there was no room to accommodate people because of the COVID situation. So the High Court introduced the virtual hearing, and up till date, the system have been in operation. But I'm surprised that the 30,000 naira slam on the litigant is not good for the growth of our justice system. And before now, the judiciary is seen as the last hope of the common man. And up till date, I want to believe it's still the last hope of the common man, even though a lot of people have lost interest in the system. But then, where are we going to go to? Are we going to go to Okija Shrine where things are not properly done? God forbid, we must come back to the judiciary and see that the needful is done, because for me, it's still the last hope of the common man. But let me say this, that the procedure entails, let me explain to the Nigerians and all over the world what it entails. It entails, if you are not available to attend court session, you can apply through your lawyer, assuming you have to come and give testimony. You are domiciled outside Lagos. Apparently, you live in FCT, you live in Kano, you live in London, you live in UK, you have a matter in court, so you are supposed to come and give testimony. It's only where you are supposed to come and give testimony. Otherwise, every other time, every other proceeding, your lawyer can appear for you in person. But if your presence is required, where is a criminal matter, you must be in court. If it's a civil matter, you must not be in court, except you are required to come and give testimony in court. And if you are required to come and give testimony to support your case, and you are not available to come and give that testimony, or it's expensive for you to come, you are in FCT, you are outside Lagos, you can apply through your lawyer to the court that you want the matter to be heard via Zoom or any of the app. And then the court will grant that application. And once that application is granted, you are to pay, by this latest development, you are to pay the sum of 30,000 to the Lagos State Judiciary accounts.
Well, is this an elitist arrangement? Because that's what has been running through my mind for quite when I heard this particular, story. Is this an elitist thing? Because I want to imagine that, as you said, now somebody has a court case in Lagos and the person is living in Abuja. That person seems like a middle class person or an average earning person. So this may not be a problem if it is an elitist, arrangement. It may not be a problem for the higher ups. I'm asking.
But whichever class you are, if you are domiciled outside Lagos, you live outside Lagos, assuming you live in FCT, whichever class you are, whether you are poor, whether you are rich, whether you are average, let me even balance it from the side of the government before I bounce back on the same government. Whichever side, whichever class you are, whether you are a poor person or whichever class. If you look at the transportation from FCT to Lagos, on the road, is it no more than 30,000? Will you prefer to come on the road? Or apparently you prefer that procedure? That is one on the other side. But what then happened if somebody reside in Lagos here, as at the time he filed the suit? He filed the suit sometime in 2023, and now, by his job description, he's no longer he's now in FCT. He resides in FCT, and then the salary is the same thing. It does happen. We know of some federal government employees who they go all round the federation before their retirement. As at the time he filed the suit in 2023, the person resides in Lagos, but now the person is in FCT. How will you now marry it? And then the money, the finance is not there for him to come to Lagos and follow up the matter. So my point is that beyond just tagging that amount of money, let us also be mindful of the fact that we went through this procedure as far back as 2020 thereabouts, immediately after COVID, and nobody paid, nothing happened. So why are we now introducing this amount? More particularly that the judiciary is supposed to be the last hope of the common man.
I was going to get there. My question now is, if this was done then in adherence to social distancing guidelines, that's what this was done for in 2020, due to social distancing and lockdown and all of that. So people can be in their homes and you attend court hearings. We're in 2024. Everywhere is relaxed. It's almost a new. We're back to normal. We're almost back to the new normal. All right. Is this still necessary?
Yes. The 21st century, this thing, everything is going with smoothness now. Even you can sit down in your house and do a lot of things. We file court process now from our bedroom, any part of the world you are. The Lagos State system now allows us to file, whereas it was not like that before now. So I accommodate that idea that we can go through the route of hearing cases via electronic base, but my grievance is against that amount of money.
30,000
for a seat per session. Let us get it right, per session. So what we need to look at now will be what then happened, assuming the matter is being called upon and the courts now adjourn the matter. We need to define all these things. It's contracts. Government cannot continue to take us for granted. Where is it done? I have paid you 30,000, and then on the fateful day, you say that the judge, for example, now the court in Lagos State is sitting on a daily basis from 10 a.m. in the morning till 2 p.m.
But you've also, tried one way or the other to justify it for the government, because I imagine if I'm coming from Port Harcourt to come and attend a case in Lagos State, do you know how much it will cost me from Port Harcourt and to Port Harcourt? The cost of probably accommodation. Maybe I don't even have family members here anymore. I will have to, stay in an hotel just because I want to appear in a court. So do you think, okay, maybe even if it is still, imperative that we have this arrangement going on, this 30,000 naira, is it too much?
It's too much for the justice system. Yes. The courtroom, ordinarily, the judiciary is not supposed to be a money-making venture for the state. It's supposed to be the last hope of the common man. It's not supposed to be the money-making venture. But in as much as they're looking at it from that aspect also, in this angle, we also need to marry it with the fact that it's only somebody in Lagos, outside Lagos, that we subscribe to that procedure. We want to do a trial via Zoom. Otherwise, I'm in Lagos. If I'm sick, I can write a letter to the court. My lord, this is my medical report. I will flag it through my lawyer. Give us a further date. The court will grant you. But if you're outside Lagos, you are in London, we have handled cases cases of divorce. They will play the TV live, and then we'll see the other party, and then the matter will proceed, and everything will go on. If you're an FCT, the same procedure. But my point is that the judiciary should not be a money-making venture. And then people should have interests. People should not lose interest in the system because these people don't have any other place to go. 30,000, let me give you another further illustration. Assuming you are claiming 250,000 only, and then the matter is to proceed, you have to do that you have to conduct trial via Zoom like 3 times. That's about 90,000 out of how much?
Well, just so that we put the right information out there. Apparently, the 30,000 naira doesn't go to the court.
It is being paid through the.
There's an IT company that's working in partnership with Lagos State with Lagos State Judiciary. Yes. So the 30,000 naira goes to the company. That's let me see now, Global T&T News Solutions. All right, they're the ones who partnered with Lagos State Ministry of Justice on virtual court proceedings, and the managing director, Musbah Fᴏʟᴜᴜ of the Global T&T, said the virtual hearing was a means to ensure continuity of court operations and all of that. So that it's not mandatory or anything, but for people who would like to make use of that service, the service charge of 30,000 naira is going to the company's purse. So it's not like it's going to the judiciary. The judiciary, the company went to judiciary. We can make things easier for you.
I agree with you that
okay.
it's in partnership.
So
it's in partnership, but
so,
on the
so
face
we can
of
take
it,
out
on
the judiciary making
on
money.
the face of it, what the litigants will look at, the litigants don't care. We need to come down to the understanding of the beneficiary. The beneficiary here is a litigant. The litigants don't care. I'm going to court. We have three arms of government. We have the executive arm, we have the legislative arm, and then we have the judiciary. We are interfacing with the courts. The proceeding is going to be done in the court. So what I'm concerned about more,
shouldn't it be also part of the job of the lawyer to educate your clients that
whether you educate them or not, you are before the courts. And this exercise is in connection, is in let me put it this way, is the judiciary that partner with this company. It is the supreme interest of the litigants and justice that is the overwhelming circumstances that the court should look at. The judiciary should negotiate with them.
All
because
right. 0913-6000-410. Do you are you in line with Barrister Atta's train of thoughts as regards this this new development coming from the Lagos State Judiciary that made an announcement that the payment of a 30,000 naira fee per session for all remote or virtual court proceedings across the state, and as it is now, this is. Well, while First High Tower Infotech will continue to provide internet services and access for the courts where they currently offer, such services, but then Global T&T New Solutions are the ones who partnered with Lagos State Ministry of Justice on virtual court proceedings, and they're reiterating that the service charge of 30,000 naira is going to the company's purse. But then, what do you think? Too much, and do you think the judiciary should be complicit in such, venture? Let me put it that way. Let's have a conversation. 0913-6000-410. 0913-6000-410. This is for Lagos State residents, by the way. Let me put it out there. It's for residents of Lagos State. So if you'd like to join the conversation, you can call in or you can send a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0913-6000-430. 0913-6000-430. Or you can drop a comment in the live chat section on our Facebook or YouTube platform at Mainland 98.3 FM. We are live, so you can watch the program live. You can join the conversation live on Facebook and YouTube. So that is the second story report that we are looking at this afternoon. Now let's also move on very quickly. We also have this interesting story here. We had this story, I think it was sometime on Monday. Yes, it was on Monday. So the issue of oil theft in the Niger Delta. The issue of oil theft in the Niger Delta, the arrangements that are being made or the arrangement that is being made. And what we have, the report that we have is despite militarization of the Niger Delta, despite private security arrangements, oil theft is still rampant in the Niger Delta. So, the Nigerian Army, the Navy, NSCDC, that's Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, they have had series of operations in the oil producing areas of the Niger Delta. There are pictures, there are videos to show illegal refineries, pipeline points that are being rescued from breaches, and in some cases arrests are even being made. But in the real sense, nothing has changed regarding theft and vandalization or vandalism of oil facilities. Also, the NNPC sometime in August 2022 hired a private security outfit, Tantita Security, that is owned by former militant leader Uncle Bra Tompolo. That's how I refer to him. And this is an arrangement or a contract that is 4 billion naira monthly and 48 billion yearly. So we are paying all of these monies. We are, expending all of this personnel, and we still have oil theft. 60% or thereabouts of our oil goes to oil theft. We've had, we've had about over 2,400 oil theft incidents reported in the last 2 months. In the first 15 days of March, we've also had about 1 or 2, oil theft incidents. So what exactly can the government do, or what exactly is the problem with the strategy that has been put in place as regards securing our pipelines and our oil facilities?
You see that the government is not serious, and the government knows the people that are behind all these thefts. The government at a point thought came about Tompolo's contract, thinking that that will amount to the solution of what we experience in that area today. But up till date, I recall that under the former president, the late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, amnesty was granted, if I'm correct. Is it under?
Yes.
Amnesty was granted, and then the government empowered people from that region. A lot of them were empowered, and up till date, we are still experiencing this lacuna in the system up till date. I don't know what civil defense are doing there, because they are not well trained, as far as I'm concerned. They are not trained and they are not fit to challenge those boys in that environment. So the government needs to declare them those militant and those criminals, because that is what they are good at doing. Take advantage of the system. They take advantage of the fact that the government is not familiar with that environment, because they are more conversant. They can maneuver their way inside the water. In fact, a friend of mine told me that they used to host meeting in the middle of the water. They will park their boat round there and then be holding meeting, and once the army personnel are coming, they will jump inside the water and then run away. So the point I'm making is that it is the fact that the government is not serious about all these things. We need to embrace technology, mount satellites around that environment, engage professionals, study that environment, because we have tried all means.
But so, excuse me, apologies, I have to cut you there. The reason for that's being given for the engagement of Tompolo,
yes,
securing this pipeline, is the fact that he is a member of the community. He knows the community, he knows the people in the community, is familiar with the community, and it's easier when you know someone who knows the terrain, someone who understands that environment or the people in that community. Those were the reasons that were given for engaging Tantita.
Yes, I agree with the government, but in between that period, the government ought to have put up IT to steal that environment, one, and then you cannot trust a thief at any time. He is part of them. We cannot say he's part of the militant. He just repented, and then he negotiated his way via a bid, and then he got the contract. So he cannot say that he's not part of them. So up till date, he's involved now. We are not getting results, and money, we are investing money on a daily basis. We are paying heavy money to him, to his company up till date, and then we can't get results. So how will you describe that? Are we going to continue to wait for him? We need to embrace IT, study the environment, train special personnel, train special squad, and let them move and hit the environment and do the needful, because these people will continue to take the system for granted if the government is not proactive. We have used all arsenal, we have used all means, be it civil procedure, be it in a hardened way. The government have explored all options. The amnesty policy is a civil way of doing things. You have empowered them, you have given them, you have exhibited and showcased corporate social responsibility by engaging them in the youth and everything. So these people cannot say that the government is taking them for granted. We cannot continue to accept this. And then on another note, the government is also inflicting hardship on the people, because these people continue to complain on a daily basis that their water is bad because of the crude and everything that government is generating from there. They don't have fish, no better water, hardship in the environment. The government is not doing the needful. So when you listen to A, you must also listen to B, and that's why you see them, they come out to strike in a very provocative manner at times. They are also facing the hardship. So the government needs to balance the equation. In as much as you are harvesting from there, you need to take care of where you feed from. You can't continue to take it for granted.
All right, Kevin, would you like to drop 1 or 2 cents as regards this conversation? We spend so much money, and we still have cases of oil theft. We still have the fact that Nigeria is struggling as regards even meeting our OPEC quota, getting crude available, because we are losing almost 60% of our crude to theft and vandalism. So what exactly, are we? It's almost like we just waste of funds at this point now, because we have the private arrangement, we have the militarization as well, all of these things put in place trying to mitigate this thing, but still it's just getting worse.
Thank you for this question you've asked, put forward. It is important to note that after the introduction of the amnesty program, the government has failed in continuity, in the sense that I'm sure that there were some terms and agreements in that amnesty activity. Now, after empowering the youth, what levels of action did the government take in terms of continuing to secure the safety or prevent this vandalism? It's not enough to have Brother Tompolo, as you made mention earlier, to oversee the activities of Niger Delta. Look, for every region they have leaders, and I can categorically tell you that Tompolo have some level of boundaries that he's not supposed to go beyond, because when he interrupts those boundaries, it will become a chaos. It will become intra-party chaos within this regional people. So it's more like, look, you have been paid a certain amount of money, do your bit. And of course, we from this region, we have been suffering from the fact that we have shell companies, LNG, taking a lot from us, but yet we are suffering hardship. So in a way to help themselves, in a way to provide for themselves, in a way to rescue themselves from this poverty, pain and anguish, they resort to still going down to that vandalism. And I can also tell you that from that 2022 till now, there has been some level of growth in the youth. They see that as a means of survival. And if the government is saying, look, we want you people to stop this vandalism, but yet we're not having light, we're not having money, we're not having job, we can't earn anything, but we have this oil in our region. Look, the only option is for us to go through this means. So I think the government has failed in their part to be more proactive, be more stiff in their actions. It's not enough to bring in the military, bring in NSDC. This is time where technology has taken over. And that's also an advantage for the government. If you need to consult experts, take their time to go around that vicinity. It could take months, but then what is important is that when you consult experts, I'm sure there are time frames to how they can understand that vicinity, and that will give them some level of grasp and what actions to take in trying to mitigate this issue of vandalism and the like. So the government can continue saying from now till tomorrow, if they don't strike a balance in terms of empowering the people in reality, and of course putting up measures that are far beyond what they've ever seen in Niger Delta, this issue of vandalism will continue.
0913-6000-410 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call to join the conversation. What do you think as regards, or what strategy would you suggest for the government as regards resolving this issue of oil theft as in oil producing areas in the Niger Delta? We are spending so much money, but we're seeing so little results. The militarization, we have the Nigerian army, we have the Navy, we have the NSCDC as well, and the police is also doing what they can as internal security personnel that they are. And then we have the private arrangement with Tantita, which is owned by former militant leader Tompolo, where he goes home with about 48 billion yearly on securing our pipelines, but the results are not there to show for it. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes.
My name is Nɪɪक़ᴜ.
Your name is
Richmond. Yes, you.
Okay.
Let's go straight to the point. Actually, if you empower your youth accordingly, you won't have crime, and even if you do have crime, you're going to have a mountain of crime being committed by these young people. Let me give an example. Let us use the creative industry to get involved in the creative industry. What about those? What about the media? How they suppose if we do some of these things, this youth would fear of crime,
Mr. Richmond. Appreciate you sharing your submission. What do you think as regards what Mr. Richmond said? As regards empowering the youth. If we can empower, the youths, things would make it would make a lot of things easier. Rather than us, just wasting funds and all of that. What do you think? Do you agree with Mr. Richmond from Ikoyi that empowering the youth is one major way that the government can actually curb oil theft in the Niger Delta? And I'm also going to add this as well. What do you think is the role of community elders, traditional rulers in the community? What do you think their role should be in the Niger Delta as regards, ensuring that things work as they should? Nigeria, unfortunately, yes, I'm very aware of the word I'm using, unfortunately, is heavily dependent on oil. It's almost as if we don't have any other resource in this country or any other resources in this country. Nigeria is blessed. We have so much. Let's not even start discussing bitumen. But then, there's a lot that we can actually tap into in this country that can actually, drive the revenue generation that the government is on. But then, we are unfortunately heavily dependent on oil. And this oil, one way or the other, we are also having problems with. If only Nigeria can have access to half of the crude that is available, only God knows where we will get to. Sometime last year when Dangote started production, or was supposed to start production, it needed 6 million barrels of crude, and it struggled getting 6 million in an oil producing country. I found that very, very interesting. And also, hello? Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Madam Sandra. It's okay. Let me just...
How have you been?
Happy New Year.
Your name, sir?
Onosoya.
Yes, Mr. Onosoya.
See, I said it before that until they change the constitution of this country. Someone said that, no, it's our leaders. No, it's not the problem of leaders. It's the problem of the constitution. Reason is that you can't have oil in your state and someone will come in to take it away from your state without repairing or being good to your area. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Number two, when you have something you are producing in your state and someone is telling you that you should not touch it, and people are carrying there, the community is getting worse. What do you think they will do? They will not make it easy for the government to take it away. Everybody will come because it's their property of that land already. Why are they telling people not to touch gold? Why only oil? Until every state monitor what they have. Let people that have gold monitor their gold. When it comes to oil, they will say you should not touch it, it's for federal. Look at Zamfara that I have gold there. People are taking it. Look at Kaduna that what happened there. Those people that kill themselves there, those terrorists, is it not because of the power of the gold there? So the same thing here, those guys will not allow. All these guys will not allow. They will be coming to take their own share. Because of government, they did not allow them to take their own share. They will force themselves to take their own share. The solution is to change the constitution of this country, that everybody should monitor. From there, what they call it, all the elders of the community, they will know where to take the security to. We have community and we have what they call it, city police. Everybody will be charged of where they're supposed to be. Then there will be no more issue on that oil again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Onosoya. I appreciate. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Editon. I have an addition actually.
Editon.
So that's okay. I have an addition to say.
That's Mr. Richmond.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Now, I'm not too sure if I heard the word the last caller used, whether it's commission or constitution. Can you please help me out? Constitution. Good. Constitution is not the issue. It is character building and character molding of the person that is the problem. You know what I'm telling you? If you're in a family, you have rules, rule in that family. And the father says, don't touch this as my son or as my children. Right? And I don't see the moral complexity not to touch it. So domestic, you will touch it. It has nothing to do with the Constitution. The problem we have in this country is lack of character building, which leads to moral laxity. That is number one. Which, of course, if you look at it very seriously, you begin to look at Muslim and Christian churches. It has not really been the best in this country anyway, because of hypocrisy and Christians. Now, that is for that. Go back to the Niger Delta. The graduates from the polytechnic and the university, how much job opportunities do they have in their region? That is another problem. So, you give someone who has a private security outfit some hell of a money to do what? He's just taking part of his own share of the national trade. He knows what to do. He's from the Niger Delta. He knows what is going on. He doesn't trust government. If you think he trusts government at some point, he doesn't trust government. That is one. Now, another one is the Elders Council. The Elders Council, they're fighting for themselves. Because nobody ever fought for them. You understand that? So what you're having is governance of hypocrisy and pretense as a result of eye service and lip service and lack of character, initiation, and building. That is just it. Yeah. You have a culture, you have a tradition, right? How much influence are you getting from the tradition and culture of the land? So your culture and tradition encourage you to steal? Come off it. Why do you like to lie in this part of the world? Thank you.
I don't know if there's anybody's culture or tradition that encourages anybody to steal, but I'll be back to that. I'm sure. I think Barrister Ata wants to say something. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, madam, good afternoon. My name is Malam Salau.
Malam Salau, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam. Madam, before I go ahead with my submission, I want to make this complaint to you.
Okay.
Madam, we have 69 licensed radio stations.
Okay.
We sacrifice our time and our resources to listen to you and to make our own contribution. But it's unfortunate that today I was making my own contribution, which I'm entitled of, and since Babalola cut me off.
In the morning?
It's not in the morning, and it's not okay. It's my opinion. I'm contributing. If I'm wrong, to correct me.
Malam
you can just think that this is my opinion. It's not
Malam Salau. Unfortunately, in the morning, because we are pressed for time, we give every caller 2 minutes. So once it's 2 minutes, we move on to the next call, and that's why we have open forum on Thursdays. Yes. You're not limited with the time that you can share your contribution. So that's why there's a restriction in the mornings.
She didn't quote me on a time factor. She called me on my contribution. Simply, I now say that there was a headline on Vanguard saying that Obara, that is king of River State, saying that his simplicity should not be taken for granted. You understand? Okay. So I will make a contribution to that comment. You understand? Okay. But let us leave that. Please, I don't want that again, please.
It's all right.
If I'm wrong, she corrects me. Not that she can cut me off now.
All right.
This is that for the topic. Nigeria is, I mean, personally, I don't take Nigeria as an oil producing country. Madam.
We have nine states in this country that are oil producing states.
Madam. Okay, now tell me what does oil translate into a common man's life in Nigeria? Today, if there is change in the OPEC in international market, our pump price will change. Our pump, our fuel is determining, our price on the pump determines the foreign exchange. Am I right?
Okay.
So, and this is the only country in the world, oil producing country, that individual own oil wells. You understand? Individual, not that they bought it or whatever. They just sat down and acquired and shared the oil for themselves. Okay, we are the only oil producing country today in the world that cannot even meet of our quota. So tell me.
I don't think we are the only ones that cannot meet.
But our own. Last time the former president said very clear that about 60% of our oil
is stolen. Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
So by who? Oil trade is not a cheap business. It's meant for the big guys. Alright? Good. We have somebody that's in charge of that. While we have Nigerian Navy, but a private guy, ex-militant in charge of our pipelines. He's collecting about 2 billion naira every month.
4 billion.
In charge, I mean, yes, 4 billion. 4 billion, Abi. Yes. Thank you for that correction. Then we cannot meet a who. So if someone call and say that let the state whatever, nobody is controlling oil today. It's just a group of some people within themselves that sat down and determine how they will do this. Okay, now today you are now talking of increase in NEPA, whatever, tariff, whatever. One of the reasons is that there was a gas increase in gas price.
Yes. Increase in gas.
Okay, look at it now. We have gas flaring everywhere. We have excess gas and even oil. So how can even change in price on gas can be a predicament to Nigerian, a common man in Nigeria? For God's sake. Are we really? Saudi Arabia, what is our Asian foreign reserve? Saudi Arabia, as it is, they have over $500 billion in their foreign reserve. They are moving it out of the country. You know better than me. Qatar in Dubai. They are oil producing countries. Do they make more oil from money? Do they even concentrate about oil? People are even moving out of climate change, moving out of oil. We are here just making argument all the time. Oil. Making us lazy, make us hopeless, make us no direction. Nothing at all. You understand? It is when we start down and start thinking of, we have a lot of resources now. The line is there, fertile line is there. The primate, the cocoa, whatever that used to be in 1960s. Now we have even more technology than even before. So if we concentrate on those agriculture, we can even have more produce than even how we are getting it before. Am I right, ma? So this is my contribution. Right. So oil, I don't know why oil. Every day someone is telling you oil. Oil has nothing. There is nothing you can think about that we are oil producing country. They are becoming poorer. We are becoming just whatever so individual make their money and we are just busy argument. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Malam Salau. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. It is open forum, and you can join the conversation. We've had about 3 reports that we've looked through so far. We're currently on oil theft, and Malam Salau said something as regards, anybody that can go into oil theft, it has to be a big boy. It's the big boys that are doing oil theft. I just want to quickly take us back to what the GCU or GMD, Nɪɪľᴇɪ of NNPCL, said, that it's the elites, Nigerian elites, are the ones responsible for oil theft. And then you have a Chief Edwin Clark, who's an elder statesman, yes, who's coming forward and saying, the people responsible for oil theft, according to Chief Edwin Clark, are the military and he mentioned another one, I forgot now, but he mentioned the military and some other people, and I'm wondering exactly why. But then I think we already know why, of course. But then the issue is, what are the strategies that the government can bring on board to reduce all of this? Someone has said, empower the people. Someone has said, let us pay attention to the youths in those communities. They don't have jobs, they have to look for something to do in order to make ends meet. And then you also see all of the unfortunate things that's happening to their communities. I think it was Shell that some in recent times have had issues as regards spillage. As regards spillage, and the fact that communities close to that area, they don't have access to clean water due to these oil companies, the activities of these oil companies. So these people are going through a lot in the communities. Are we going to say, okay, because of this they can do whatever it is that they want to do? But the truth is, the government is spending too much, a lot. The government is spending a lot securing our oil, but then, according to former President Muhammadu Buhari, we're still losing about 60% of our oil, our crude, to oil theft. And that's the conversation that we're currently on. You want to say something, Kevin?
Yes, please. coming from the fact that you made mention of the airlines. Look, there's no smoke without fire, and on that basis, I would like to emphasize that these people who are vandalizing pipelines, they have elder statesmen, they have backings. I'm sure some of these members will be from the political field, because before you go into oil theft, you have to have equipment, facilities, guns, everything, you know, camp and the likes. And the vessels they use, who own these vessels? So I am sure that a certain amount of money goes to, you know, the elite men. Those you made mention of the chief. What did you call them?
Community elders,
the community
traditional
elders.
rulers.
Look, it's about interest now. I can say that for free. When you have traditional rulers who from time to time are giving certain amount of money, they wouldn't do much. I mean, their own interest is secured. They are happy about the activity. They get their money every month and the like. So these backings are what is giving this youth the power to continually vandalize pipelines. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Richmond.
Okay.
Would you like us to actually shake the table and crash it with very strong worded opinion, and let's make things up?
Let's just keep things clean.
Okay. Your government are the thieves. That's simple as that.
So, hold on. I will need you to retract that.
Let me retract it.
Okay.
Let me put it this way.
All right.
Your government is not being straightforward. Yeah, they're not being straightforward. They're not being sincere. They're not being kind enough, and they're not being sensitive to the plight of the people from that region. You know what I'm telling you?
All right.
You see, this issue is not difficult to deal with. Exactly. There is no need people engaging in vandalism and stealing and reporting back to certain people who are possibly in government. Now, why don't we have the political will, federal and state and local government, to deal with this particular issue? Now, you see what is happening in the Niger Delta is similar, if not exactly the same thing to what is happening in the southeast, that is the eastern part of the country. So we have a tribal and ethnic problem and degeneration in this country. So there's no nationalistic approach positively to dealing with nationalistic issues. That is what I want to say very briefly. I hope to call back again.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Richmond. I appreciate it. I think we can safely move on from that particular report. It is still open forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. We're still live on Facebook, by the way, at Mainland 98.3 FM on both Facebook and YouTube. We have some messages here. When we come back from a break, we'll take those messages. We'll take a very short break now. Time check is 2:28 p.m. and this is the Mainland 98.3. It's open forum. The program is designed for you, our dear listener. Join the conversation. We've had about 4 reports that we've looked through so far. When we come back, we still have a lot to look at. We'll look at tax incentives. We'll also look at the recapitalization conversation and a host of other stories. So stay with us. I'll be right back.
Dear Nigerians, I am determined, I repeat, to give you the affordable and reliable power.
The stakes are higher than ever.
Government policy does not support youth in this country. So if you say you have any idea, one day, one way or the other.
The conversations are louder than imagined. The expectations are greater. The demand for quality blueprints needed to make informed decisions is constantly being reviewed.
You can't start hiding under party or anything. We are leaders that are entrusted by our people. Come and speak on their behalf.
The Situation Room on 98.3 Mainland FM provides the platform where all of your demands are met. Issue-based conversations about politics, policies, leadership and governance in Nigeria and around the world. Join us every Mondays through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we engage and interact towards setting the agenda for proper accountability and public engagements. The Situation Room is here. We welcome the roommates.
attention to the hustle and bustle of Lagos. Take a chill pill.
Problem in the feeling. Calm down. Holiday to Mozambique. Let me go to Mozambique.
On the Beach, we are the perfect guide to your destination. Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come and Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our...
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Thank you for staying with us. It is still Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Open Forum is the program that is currently on air, and time check right now is 2:32 p.m. My name is Omobola Sandra, and I have with me in the studio Barrister Adamata, thank you, and also Kevin Wafili. And it's been quite an interesting conversation we have had so far. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM on both platforms at Mainland 98.3 FM, and we're taking contributions from the live chat sections on both platforms. So you can drop your comments or your contributions or your analysis of the stories in the live chat section, and as the show progresses, we take them as well alongside with phone calls. It's open forum, it's open mic, so anyone can join the conversation as regards any of the stories that we're looking through. So so far we've talked about all right, so far we've talked about the electricity consumers' rights in Nigeria. The government announced that the subsidy for electricity that was previously enjoyed by Band A customers have been removed, completely removed, and that's been approved by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. This means that those under Band A, that is those who enjoy electricity for about 20 hours per day, would now be paying, instead of the previously obtainable 66 naira per kilowatt, would now be paying about 225 naira per kilowatt. That's about 300% increase, and there's been a lot of backlash, there's been outrage, there's been a lot of reactions and response as regards that particular policy that has been pushed out. Inconvenience, a huge inconvenience, especially the manufacturers have come forward to say that this is going to have its ripple effect on the cost of goods and services, and also in a country where the purchasing power of people is at an all-time low already. And if it doesn't, implicate the cost of goods and services, we're going to see it, either in as regards the fact that businesses will be shutting down or people will be losing their jobs. That's the first story that we looked at this afternoon. We also looked at the Lagos State Judiciary announcing that a payment of 30,000 naira fee per session for all remote or virtual court proceedings across the state. So if you're unable to make or go to court, if you're currently going through any litigation and you're unable to make it to court in Lagos State, you can apply to attend virtually or virtually remotely, basically. And for every session that you appear is 30,000 naira. We had the conversation as well. And we're also looking at the story of oil theft in the Niger Delta. Despite military presence, militarization, despite private security arrangements that is going to the tune of about 48 billion naira yearly. We also have the Nigerian Army. They've been assigned there. We have the Navy. We have the NSCDC. Former President Muhammadu Buhari mentioned that about 60% of our oil is being stolen. Hey, that's, I don't know, you see, that's well over 50%. So we're struggling, to meet our quota, and the target is about 1.7 million barrels. And in February we struggled to make 1.3 million barrels. And we're in a country where we don't have a private refinery that is working, that needs about 6 million barrels, to be able to do what it needs to do. And even Dangote seems to be struggling to get. Sometime in January it had to import some crude as well as part of its sources. So we've had that conversation as well. Now let's move on now to tax incentives very, very quickly. So about 107 business or organization or businesses get tax holiday over 2.5 trillion investments. So there's the Pioneer Starters Initiative, PSI. The Pioneer Starters Initiative is an incentive that's offered by the federal government, which exempts companies from paying income tax for a certain period, and it can be full or it can be partial, and usually it runs for about 3 years. And in recent times we've had different companies applying for such to be a part of. So far we have 107 companies that enjoy this tax holiday. So offered under the Industrial Development Income Tax Act, with tax relief for a 3-year period. The incentive is generally regarded as an industrial measure that is aimed at stimulating investments in the economy. All right, and basically is supposed to be made available for people, so to also encourage foreign direct investments, FDIs, into the country and all of that. But then let's look at it from the angle of in a time where a lot of businesses are struggling to survive. Do you think this initiative should be extended to the SMEs rather than the big boys who are probably already very comfortable? Yes, they also need one way or the other, because some of these big boys also do some PPPs. They run some projects with the government. They try to do some CSR basically. But in recent times where a lot of businesses are struggling to survive, businesses can't afford running operations, and businesses are closing up or people are losing their jobs and all of that. What do you think as regards tax incentives, especially in a country where we lose about 6 trillion naira annually to tax incentive? All right, and this is a country that is heavy on revenue drive at this time now, trying to make as much money as possible. So it has been a contentious issue, the high amount of money that we lose to tax waivers every year. So let's start with Barrister.
You see that when you allow people to go tax holiday, more particularly for low income companies that you see, SME and all those things, all those species of companies, you see that these companies will abuse it. They will abuse the whole system. They will abuse the whole exercise, number one. And then number two, we also need to be wary of the fact that the government needs funds to survive. The government cannot operate solo. The tax that people pay, the government put it together and ensure that this money is reconverted into what we see today, the development, the road construction, most of all those items that you see in exercise of what you see from government today is born out of the tax that we pay. So it does not fall within the species or classes of companies that the government should grant them extension, tax holiday, tax. And then you see most of these companies even evade tax. And you know that under by law, evasion of tax, where you don't pay your tax, is an offense under the law.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies, all the small companies, they don't even pay tax. That's number one. And then more so that the purpose that is behind the tax holiday is not just something that we should look at it like a mere caricature or something thereabout. It is exclusively designed or reserved to to introduce foreign participation or new innovations. That is why you say that the law is saying, the government is saying that for any company or any company that is involved in new innovations, any ideas that you have introduced that is not in vogue, for some time, the government will grant you tax evasion. Innovation, it could be technology based, it could be capital based, it could be service, it can come in different species. There are classes of them. And then another way that some of these companies can approach the government and go on tax holidays, what Dangote is doing. You see Dangote constructing road from what is it called, Apapa down to Oworoshoki,
so
down
PPPs,
to
public-private partnerships.
Yes, partnership thereabout. And then once you pay for some time, so I'm really looking at a situation whereby you see most of the drainage and then the waterways and all those things in Lagos is not properly is unkept thereabout. You see during rainy season the environment, the whole exercise will be blocked. I'm looking at the possibility of people approaching government and say, oh no, come, since government is not forthcoming in doing this part of their responsibility to come and clear the road, our company, because our company is around this environment, we want to clear it for government. Will you give us tax holiday for 2 months for this we are doing? Can we partnership in this fold? Can we go on tax holiday? So people should come out with that. By the time you give room for all these medium scale businesses to go on tax holiday, people will abuse it. The government will not survive. How many of them are even paying tax? People are evading tax up and down. The one they pay to state, the one they pay to local government, the one they pay to federal government. The tax is even too much.
But are the people not overburdened with taxes? There's a lot that people are paying for. People are paying taxes. See, I don't know if it's semantics.
Let me even surprise
there's tax, there's due, there's fees.
Let me even surprise you with another interesting one. Okay. That it's up to date. I don't get it. Somebody don't have TV or a radio in his office. He's paying tax for that. That's how it's done outside the country in England, but we must not continue to copy some of these procedures. Some of these procedures that are cumbersome and are so hard.
I don't know if I should bring in neo-colonialism into this, but let's look at things that are peculiar to our environment, things that are peculiar to, and that's why people will argue that a lot of policies that, you know, the IMF or the World Bank pushes our government to do, and things that may work in the Western world, but it's not something that has worked for us in this country or even in Africa, generally speaking. But then if you say these are normal things that you do in other parts of the world, okay, fine, okay. But the economies of other parts of this world, the Western economies, is it the same as Nigeria?
It's not the same.
So why should we?
It's because the system here is bad, and that is why somebody will be paying for TV and radio tax, to which the person.
So you agree that businesses are overtaxed?
I do not agree per se, because a lot of people are not even paying tax. I agree to an extent that we don't have a proper and regulated tax law in our country that stipulates this tax you pay for this and that and that. The people are I think there's a duplicity of duplication of tax thereabouts. You pay a particular tax to state government, and then next tomorrow you see the federal government will come and bounce on you to come
local
and pay.
Government as well.
You come and bounce on you to come and pay that tax you have paid to the state government. They will bounce on you to come and pay to the local government. Let us know the tax you are paying. At the point of registration, let the Corporate Affairs Commission attach a particular document, which is like a handbook that detail if you are a limited, these are the tax you pay to federal government, the tax you pay to state government, the tax you pay to local government. You are aware of this. That is a notice on its own. So that at the end of the day, if you default, you cannot say, I'm not aware. At the point that you are getting your certificate, CSE should have a list of tax content or item well detailed and well spelled out, the tax you will pay for limited, and if you are a business name, the tax to which you will pay. And some other people have advocated that non-governmental organization like church and mosques, because people were prognosing into the money that the tithes that people pay in the mosques or the church thereabout or in the mosques, people were prognosing that the church and the mosques.
I think Kama has said something as regards that.
Kama says something in relation to that.
To religious
not to pay tax thereabouts. But the people are saying that they are now a money-making venture. Hence, they should pay tax. Even at a point, the government left for me. Everybody should pay tithe.
Tithe or tax?
Tax per se. Let me correct that part. Everybody should pay tax. Yes.
All right, Kevin, so we can get rest, because we still have 2 more stories to look at.
Well, it's important to say that if we're looking out for development, we should also imbibe the culture of paying tax, because development is determined by taxes our government gets to be able to run things up. So I think it's a welcome idea, but the fact that I've not seen per se or heard companies that come out to say, look, they're taxing us way too much.
No. There are people. I think what we also need to put out is that a lot of people are not properly oriented. There's no proper orientation as regards the taxes that people are supposed to pay. Some people don't even know how to calculate their taxes. All right, so some people don't even know that you're supposed to pay for this. You're supposed to all this duty, customs, stuff, duties, dues, fees, and all of that. All of those things. A lot of people are not properly informed as regards what they're supposed to pay. So, and there are complaints. I would say that.
Okay,
yes.
So I think at this point there's supposed to be more like a sensitization. Because like you rightly mentioned now, a lot of people don't know the kind of amount of taxes or what tax they should pay and what not. So it is important that while the government is looking out for taxes to improve development, these taxes are well stated. And of course, there should be timely review. As at now, I don't think we should be looking at collecting tax on radio, TV, and whatnot. As we progress as a nation, things that are peculiar to us, things that we see that look is operational to us, those are things that we should consider. So it's okay. I welcome taxation here. It's good, but then let there be reviews. Let there be sensitization.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Richmond again.
Okay.
I like the barrister in the studio to educate those in the media and entertainment and show business and the creative industry about entertainment tax, because entertainment tax it exists in Europe, but it doesn't exist here. Please take note. Educate those in the media, entertainment and show business sector, the creative industry in Nigeria.
Okay.
About entertainment tax.
Okay.
Entertainment tax exists in Europe, but it doesn't exist here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, maybe today will probably not be the day for that one. We're running out of time at this point now. But maybe sometime, probably in the Situation Room or on the Big Talk, we'll see how we can bring that in. But definitely, I've noted that. Thank you very much, Mr. Richmond, for bringing that up. We'll dig deeper into it. All right. So as regards tax, let's get your contribution. What do you think? Do you think people are being overtaxed? Are you aware of the taxes that you are supposed to pay to the IRS and related bodies as well? And also, what do you think as regards tax incentives for the PSI initiative? What do you think of of tax incentives? Although the president, or the chairman rather, of the tax reform committee, Mr. Tᴏɪᴜᴛ, recently said that the committee will carry out a comprehensive tax waiver review in line with the plan, and to check what are the things that they need to check as regards that. But do you think SMEs should also be included in this PSI, this tax initiative, tax waiver or tax exemption? Because there's something I need to just quickly put out there, is the fact that this is done for businesses that have something new. They're bringing something new, something new to the market. Yes, the products or companies eligible for the PSI are those that do not already exist in the country. Okay, so that's what those are the people that qualify to be under PSI. What are your thoughts? Let's have a conversation. We're still live on Facebook at Mainland 98.3 FM. All right, very, very quickly, let's also look at what is going on in Rivers State. think Barrister has something to say as regards that particular one. It's interesting. We had the conversation earlier this morning on mainland focus, but I think we can also bring that in today as regards what is going on in Rivers State, what exactly is going on with Siminalayi Fubara, how secured is his position as governor of Rivers State, and also, the attention that former governor Nyesom Wike, current minister of the FCT, is bringing to the state and to the political structure in Rivers State.
You see that. Let me quickly say something Wike said when he was the governor of Rivers State. He said, "You see this green biro with me, they are failed. This green biro with me, they are failed." The same green biro is now with the current governor now. So it's left for him to exercise that right. And the governor said something of recent. Earlier this year, he said, "I have the green biro. They will fail." So this is to say that once they are the governor is as good as the president. After God and his cabinets in heaven, permit me to say this, is the government. And once you are a minister, you are an appointee of the president. You don't have a constitutional backup as to the extent to which the governor have a constitutional backup. The governor is as good as the president in his own state. So whatever that is happening is left for the governor.
What about the legality of this impeachment conversation in the State House of Assembly? Because the State House of Assembly also has its own issues. Look, I need to understand the 20-something members of the State House of Assembly. We don't know where they are. Are they in PDP? Are they in APC? That's one conversation.
They are running up and down because I literally don't know where they belong to right now. And the governor, like he said yesterday, he said, as a result of the agreement and the respect that I have with Mr. President, I have started implementing some of those items that Mr. President said, go and start ensuring that you put them on board. But let this be a warning to them. He made it open, and that is how to fight. Freedom is not given voluntarily. You must ask for it. You must request for it. Otherwise, nobody on earth will give you that freedom. When Wike was the governor of Rivers State, who dare him? Look at the way even Amaechi cannot even enter that state, and a lot of others. So let him go and concentrate in the activity of FCT. FCT is a country on its own because of the fact that it is a place where you see all the tribe in the federation. It's nobody's state per se. It is a headquarter. So go there and demonstrate and exhibit and showcase your talents as a master of project. I don't know how he described himself. Leave this man to rest. Let him concentrate. He's young. He's not up to 2 years. And then you are distracting the young man. So for me, those ones that are junketing from one party to the other, we are PDP today, tomorrow they are in APC, they are rigmaroling. Their fate will soon be determined whether they are PDP members or they are APC members. More particularly that APC, there are still other APC members who are in charge in that state, who will not let Wike to hijack the system in that state. So let him go, because he himself, he does not, is he in PDP or APC?
That's a big question that everybody is asking. Where exactly does the political loyalty of Wike, where does it lie?
But let me say this. Everything about all this thing is temporary. We have seen people who are more dogged than him. Where are they today in the political atmosphere? Nowhere to be found. So he need to trade with caution. More particularly that Rivers election is Rivers politics is very peculiar politics. He did it to Amaechi. Amaechi did it to somebody. Amaechi fought the former president then, and then he fully supported the immediate president as against somebody from his region. So he's full of, when you step out, you are being edged out. So you just need, if you understand the game, go and concentrate and move on with life.
I must agree with you. I think I agree with you, Barrister Ta, when you mentioned that Rivers politics is a completely different ball game entirely from what is being practiced in other parts of the country. I remember quite clearly the Amaechi situation. Even Mama Peace, Patience Jonathan.
Yes.
The role she played as well in Wike becoming governor of the state, and what Wike's own actions as well to these people, even Wike's actions to Peter Odili, who was supposed to be like a godfather or some sort to him, what Wike also did then. So, and then now Wike it's just like full circle. It has gone full circle now. Whatever is going on with between
it will get to a point it will only be him. It's a temporary something, and yes.
But there's some people that are arguing that maybe the reason why maybe the reason why Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT, is desperately holding on to whatever he can hold on to in Rivers State is because he needs something to leverage onto in 2027 for elections.
Is it going to contest in 2027 under which platform? Whereas he's not in PDP right now.
How did he become?
How did
he become minister?
He has not. The appointment for ministerial appointments is not by the party you belong to. It's a president that appoints. Whether you belong to.
I'm not talking about party. How did Wike become minister?
It's as a result of the role he played in the last election. But
because of the power that he had as governor of the state. But now he doesn't have that power anymore.
So you agree with me that the state belongs to who? The governor, the sitting governor. He's the one that can do.
I don't know about that because Kogi State will tell you otherwise.
How? Please.
What's happening in Kogi State? There's office of the former governor of Kogi State.
That's social media paparazzi per se. Somebody can brand himself and stay in the state house, but the reverse is the case.
The former governor is still heavily influencing whatever is going on, the state affairs in Kogi State.
I literally cannot say that because people have said that, even though it's my state, but I cannot per se because I'm not. There's no evidence to back up that fact.
No, but from the speakings of the present governor of that state,
even the present governor himself,
his loyalty,
even the present governor himself,
it's a matter of time. All this loyalty of a team, like I continue to say, it is a matter of time. It's common in the West. In the western parts of the country, and that is why you see, if you look at the political antecedents of Mr. President with the immediate governor, the former governor Fashola, Ambody, and then others, you will see the antecedent because of this respect and loyalty something in the West. It's not like that in other parts of the country. When you are
this is not a matter of respect, Pastor.
Loyalty.
Whatever is going on in Kogi State, it has gone beyond. I don't know what happened, but let's not be speculative. And whatever is going on in Rivers State as well. But thank you very much, Pastor, for making out time to be here. 2 hours has gone by just like that. Thank you to everyone who was a part of the conversation this afternoon. I appreciate you calling in or listening, because there are a lot of people who actually do listen, trying to get one information or the other. So I thank you, I appreciate. And also to everyone who was with us on Facebook. We had quite some messages on Facebook. Patrick Obeazo also sent in his message. Femi Shobowale also sent in a message on Facebook. Thank you very much. Well, we appreciate. Join us again next week, Thursday, on Open Forum. Open Forum is where we aggregate all of the top stories in the past 1 week, and we open the phone line for you to share your own analysis and contribution as regards all of the stories. My name still remains Omobola Sandra. Thank you, Kelvin Wafili, for making our time.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, thank you, Barrister Adamata, for being here this afternoon. Yeah, so coming up next is Afro Timeout with Jaydan. So you may want to stay tuned for that. We had quite a lot to talk about. Now it's time for us to sit back, relax, and enjoy some beautiful Afro music with Jaydan. And after that, Okwemi is back in the Situation Room by 4 p.m. with the chief political editor of the Guardian newspaper, Mr. Muyiwa Adeyemi. Promises to be an interesting one. But in the meantime, let's enjoy some beautiful music with Jaydan. This is still Mainland 98.3 FM. Open Forum will be back next week Thursday by 1 p.m.
And now, all the way from the 60s.